My fiancé has proposed something that I have never heard of. We had a big argument, and she felt I was acting like a jerk. I wanted to get an opinion on whether what she is asking for is a thing, and if it is something I should be worried about. I, 30-year-old male, recently got engaged to my fiancée Emma, 26-year-old female, last month. Emma is amazing, and we met at work. I am a researcher in a big tech firm, while Emma works in marketing. We met 2.5 years ago during a company event, and I was completely smitten by her. I asked her out, she said yes, and we have an amazing relationship so far. One of the things I love about Emma is how organized she is. Her job involves working on marketing events and event planning. She's great at it, and I am proud of her. However, her work also involves working longer hours, especially if she is helping in organizing events or meetups. Since my job is a desk job, I generally have very predictable hours and do not usually have to work late. She always complains about how I get to sit in a nice office while she is driving around everywhere and getting things done. I know this might come off poorly, but I have attention deficit disorder, ADD, and struggle with simple things, and that is one of the reasons I love her. I struggle with anything that requires organization, and she is patient and makes my life better in many ways. We moved in together in the summer. She moved into my apartment. That was the first time we discussed finances openly. Due to some really lucky factors and stock value appreciation, I have a pretty good compensation package. She knew I was financially stable, but was shocked when she learned how much I make. I was actually equally shocked at how much she makes. It turns out I make around 15 times more than her. I offered for her to not pay anything and concentrate on saving to pay back her student debt, which was paused at that time. I own our apartment. However, she said that she also wanted to contribute, and we decided to split the expenses proportionally to what we make, which I thought was fair. She has always been very independent and self-sufficient. Now to the issue. So we got engaged around a month ago during the holidays. She had never asked me for anything expensive before. However, she wanted a specific diamond engagement ring that cost us close to $15,000. I was not comfortable spending that, but she convinced me that she was going to wear it for the rest of her life, and hence it's worth it. We got it, and she was very happy. Whenever she shows the ring to anyone, she often attempts to mention the cost of the ring in the conversation. I feel extremely uncomfortable with showing off and have told her many times to stop. However, she continues doing it. Yesterday, I came home and she asked me to sit on the couch next to her. She said she wanted to talk about something important. She said that she is planning to quit her job next month and give her 15-day notice. I was shocked and asked her if anything was wrong. She said that she wants to plan the wedding and it is going to take a lot of time. We plan to get married in the summer. Hence, she wants to make sure she takes care of all the bookings soon. I asked her why she needed to quit her job for that. And she said that she was tired of working long hours and wanted to be a stay-at-home fiancé. I laughed and told her that was not a thing. Plus, she still has tens of thousands of dollars of student loans. She argued that it was less than what I make in a month and we are a team now, so she is not worried about it. I asked her what her plans were after the wedding, and she said that she had not planned what to do after that, but was glad I was with her. I told her that she could take a break, but I am not comfortable with her just abandoning her career at such a young age, especially since we are not planning to have kids for at least a few years. She is good at what she does, and I want her to be independent even after marriage, in case something bad happens to me. We had a big argument, and she feels I am a jerk to want her to work after marriage when we can afford for her to stay at home. On one hand, what she makes is not going to affect our finances. However, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I have never heard of anyone leaving their job to plan the wedding. Is being a stay-at-home fiancé really a thing? I want to support her and make her life comfortable, but I feel quitting her career is a little too early for her age. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, not the idiot. We're a team. That is both hilarious and extremely inappropriate in this context. prank her and say you are quitting your job instead. Let her know that if she is your equal partner, she can easily make up the gap. Comment 2. Since she came up with this, it means that she doesn't want to work, so you run the risk of getting married and her quitting her job. Also, understand that if she becomes a stay-at-home wife, if you guys get divorced, you have to pay her alimony. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the comments on my last post. It's been a tense 3 days since I shared about Emma wanting to become a stay-at-home fiancée to plan our wedding. I've got some updates that have left me reeling. So, after our argument, things were tense at home. Emma was quiet, and I could tell she was upset. I decided to give her some space to think things over. Meanwhile, I reached out to a couple of friends to get their take on the situation. They were just as baffled as I was. No one had heard of someone quitting their job to plan a wedding, especially when it's months away. The next day, Emma came to me with a compromise. She suggested working part-time so she could focus more on the wedding, but still have some income. I thought it was a reasonable idea, and I was relieved that she was considering alternatives. We agreed to sit down and discuss the details that evening. But when I got home from work, I found Emma in tears. She confessed that she had been feeling overwhelmed with her job and the wedding planning. She admitted that her suggestion to quit was a cry for help because she felt like she couldn't handle the pressure. I felt terrible for not realizing how much stress she was under. We talked it out, and I assured her that we could hire a wedding planner to alleviate some of the burden. Things seemed to be looking up. We even interviewed a few wedding planners and found one we both liked. Emma seemed happier, and I was glad to see her smiling again. However, the calm didn't last long. 2 days ago, I came home early from work to surprise Emma with dinner. But the surprise was on me when I walked in on her in a heated video call. I overheard her saying, "I can't keep doing this. It's not fair to him." My heart sank. Who was she talking to? I confronted her after the call ended. She broke down and revealed that she had been in touch with her ex-boyfriend. They had reconnected a few months ago, and she had been confiding in him about her job stress and our engagement. She insisted it was just emotional support, but I was devastated. How could she turn to her ex behind my back? We had a huge fight. I couldn't believe she would betray my trust like that. Emma tried to explain that she felt like she couldn't talk to me about her doubts and fears regarding our future. She said her ex was just a friend, but I couldn't get past the deception. The next day, Emma was gone when I woke up. She left a note saying she needed some time alone to think. I was a mess. I loved her, but I didn't know if I could get past this. I spent the day reflecting on our relationship. I remembered how Emma had always been fiercely independent. When we first met, she was the one who impressed everyone at work with her marketing skills. She was the life of the party at company events, and her laughter was infectious. I fell for her hard and fast. But as I thought about our time together, I realized there were signs I had missed. Emma had always been a bit secretive about her past relationships. She would change the subject whenever I brought up anything related to her exes. I had respected her privacy, but now I wondered if I had been too trusting. Then, late last night, I received a text from Emma that left me speechless. She confessed that she had been feeling trapped by our engagement. The expensive ring, the lavish wedding plans, it was all becoming too much for her. She felt like she was losing her identity, and talking to her ex made her realize she wasn't ready to settle down. I didn't know how to respond. I was angry, hurt, and confused. Emma was the woman I wanted to spend my life with, but now I questioned if I even knew her at all. This morning, I woke up to another bombshell. Emma's best friend called me. She said Emma had been planning to leave her job long before our engagement. She had been saving up secretly, wanting to start her own marketing consultancy. The stay-at-home fiancé idea was just a cover because she was scared to tell me her real plans. My aunt attacked me at my deaf sister's funeral, so I skipped the burial and they banned me. Now I'm questioning my whole family. Hello, this happened last week and the repercussions keep coming. Full story. My sister passed last week in my care. She was 45 years old and had Turner syndrome. She was also deaf, but that is not part of her Turner. My sister has been staying with me, and I have been her caretaker for almost a year. Her heart gave out suddenly. We did not know she was sick. Fast forward, I was not allowed to say goodbye to my sister. On the second night of the viewing, I approached my Aunt Tony and noticed them passing out the flowers around the casket. I asked, "Are you guys dividing up the flowers?" My adoptive mother's sister then turned to me and yelled, "Yeah, April, that's what I am doing. That's what your mother wanted to do. Do you have a problem with that?" I did not understand the reaction. Her response was combative and unprovoked. Attempting to diffuse the situation, I backed up and merely asked, "Why are you talking to me like that?" I was genuinely confused as she kept advancing towards me with her eyes wide open, clearly irritated. That family has a reputation for being tough, so seeing a 60-year-old woman attacking me at my sister's funeral immediately made me defensive. I backed up and called out to everyone around me for help, asking them why she is talking to me like that. But Uncle John Bella nor my husband did or said anything. As everyone turned to see the commotion, she screamed at me again. "Why am I talking to you like that, April? I am matching your tone." Even if my tone was off, it doesn't change the fact that a 60-year-old woman was screaming at me at my sister's funeral for simply asking a question about flowers. At that point, I looked around and everyone was staring. I was now at the exit of the room. No one said anything. No one was coming to defend me. At that moment, all I could think of is how she always told me, adoption doesn't make you family. So I backed away, told her, "Fuck you," then turned around and left. I left. I was outside the viewing room and not engaging. Gary, a 6-foot man who looks like a 260-pound man-child, came running from Margaret's casket screaming, "You don't talk to my mama like that." I then felt a hard shove from behind and being turned around. I watched as Gary cocked his arm back to hit me, but my husband grabbed his arm to stop it. I took my shot and defended myself. As the room is screaming, Gary's face. My adopted mother comes barreling around the corner. "You promised you wouldn't embarrass me over and over again." That is all I am to this adoptive family, an embarrassment. They have always told me that growing up, don't act like April. I am telling my narrative as they try to say it for me. I am not drugged up. It's not all in my head. I am not sensitive or overtired. I was attacked at my sister's funeral. When my friend reached out to my dad saying I needed support, he felt offended and told her, "Fuck you," and to lose his number. Just like when I reached out to him when Margaret was sick, telling him I needed support, and he informed me he only checks in with his wife. I did not go to my sister's burial today. I want the family to grieve in peace. I am trying to give them that. But I will not let my narrative be written for me on this. I have not talked to my family since, but I did post this on Facebook as a way of an explanation on my end. I found out I am banned from all of my sister's houses. I have 4. And my niece put up a nasty meme, and my father is putting up nasty memes about loyalty and family and tagging my cousin and aunt. Am I wrong in any of this? I understand I should not have cursed out my aunt, but I am now a villain who destroyed the memory of my sister. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, not the idiot, but OP. Pal, I know Reddit says this all the time, but you do need a therapist or some mental health. If this is only the tip of the iceberg of how your family treats you, you might have some unresolved traumas you will need to overcome. And honestly, the best thing you can do now is grieve for your sister and keep the rest of your family out of your lives forever. Comment 2, not the idiot. Your family's behavior is beyond appalling. Not being allowed to say goodbye to your own sister and then being attacked at her funeral? That's beyond messed up. And now they're banning you from your sister's houses and spreading nasty memes about you? It's clear they're trying to paint you as the villain to deflect from their own dysfunction. Now for the update. Hey everyone, a lot has happened since my last post, and I'm still reeling from the fallout. Last week, my world was turned upside down when my sister, who I had been caring for nearly a year, passed away. She had Turner syndrome and was deaf, which made our bond even more special since I was one of the few people who truly understood her. After her passing, things went from bad to worse. I wasn't allowed to say goodbye to her, and at the viewing, my Aunt Tony lashed out at me over some flowers. It was shocking and hurtful, especially coming from her. Aunt Tony and I had a complicated history. She never really accepted me after the adoption, often reminding me that blood was thicker than water. But I never expected her to attack me at my own sister's funeral. The confrontation escalated quickly. I was trying to back away, but then Gary, my cousin, came at me like a raging bull. My husband had to step in to prevent him from hitting me. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare, with everyone screaming and my adoptive mother accusing me of causing a scene. Growing up, she always made it clear that I was the black sheep of the family, and now it seemed like that sentiment hadn't changed. After the funeral, I was banned from my sister's houses, and the family drama spilled over onto social media. My niece posted a nasty meme about me, and my father was sharing posts about loyalty, clearly aimed at me. It was like they were trying to erase me from the family narrative. But I refused to let them control my story. I posted my side of things on Facebook, not to start more drama, but to set the record straight. I needed to speak my truth, even if it meant standing alone. In the midst of all this, I've been trying to process my grief for my sister. She was the one person who never judged me, who loved me unconditionally. Losing her felt like losing a part of myself, and dealing with the family's hostility only made the pain sharper. Despite everything, I didn't attend my sister's burial. I wanted to give the family their space to grieve, even if they didn't afford me the same courtesy. It was a difficult decision, but I felt it was the right thing to do. Since then, I've been trying to pick up the pieces of my life. My husband has been my rock, supporting me through the chaos. We've had long talks about family and what it means to us. He reminded me that we can create our own family, one built on love and respect, not obligation and resentment. I've also been reflecting on my relationship with my sister. She was more than just someone I cared for. She was my confidant, my friend. I miss her every day, and I wish I could have one more moment with her to tell her how much she meant to me. As for my adoptive family, I haven't spoken to them since the funeral. The silence is deafening, but maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's time to let go of the hope that they'll ever see me as anything other than an embarrassment. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I need to move forward, for my sister's sake and for my own. I'll always cherish the memories we shared, and I'll carry her with me in my heart, no matter where I go. I defended my trans sister against a mom's complaints after her basketball game. She tried to get Vicky kicked off, but the coach wasn't having it. I, 21-year-old female, know I'm not in the wrong for defending my sister, 13-year-old female, but some of my friends tell me that I could have been more tactful about it. For context, my sister was assigned male at birth, but it was very clear early on that she was transgender. Fortunately, most of our close family is very supportive of her. My mom jokingly says that it was God correcting his mistake, since my other younger sister and I were both girls. Anyways, Vicky, name I will be using for my sister for privacy's sake, socially transitioned for the first couple years of her life before my mother got her officially diagnosed with gender dysphoria around age 6. And once she was around 10, Vicky started to notice her body was changing in a nasty way. So my mom made sure that she got on hormone blockers as soon as possible, but she didn't actually start taking them until she was 11, unfortunately. The reason why I'm telling you about my sister's medical history is because she joined her school's basketball team. Vicky has always made the fact that she's transgender like an open secret. She'll tell people who she trusts and doesn't really care who hears. So this is where Emily, 12-year-old female, probably comes in. Supposedly, she's one of the popular kids at school and barely knows Vicky. But they joined at the same time, and honestly, I didn't realize until Vicky told me that. She only attended basketball practice twice before the actual game. For 2 weeks, they had practice on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3:30 to 7 p.m. So the actual game comes around. Me, my younger sister, and my best friend attended. Our school is playing against a nearby rival school. To fast forward through it, we lost. But it was a fun game, and it was very clear that Vicky was having a great time. I think most of the other players did, except for Emily, of course. She looked very flustered by the end of it, and I'm going to be honest, she played like complete dog water. She was a literal detriment to the team, and maybe even the reason why they lost, but that's just my anger talking. But I guess as everyone was getting ready to leave, Emily went back to her mom and told her about Vicky being transgender. So Susan, Emily's mom, goes up to the coach and loudly starts complaining about Vicky. I was by the snack stand getting something to drink, and they were by one of the doors that led outside. So it wasn't that far of a walk, and very much an earshot with how loudly she was talking. I don't even want to repeat any of the stuff that she was saying about my sister, but when Susan said, "You allow boys on the girls' team, you should win your games," I knew I had to step in. I confronted her and asked what the hell her problem was. She asked me if I was the boy's mother, and I told her that I'm her sister. To boil it down, Susan tried to go on a tired butt tirade on me about how unfair it was that Vicky was playing basketball with girls, but I had to cut her off. I told her that 1, my sister barely looks different than any of the other girls on the team, and the only reason that you probably know about it is because Emily heard it from somewhere. 2, my sister has been on hormone blockers since she was 11. She actually probably has a disadvantage compared to the other girls on the team. 3, your daughter is just mad that she played like butt and wants to deflect the blame. It's on Emily why she played so horribly, not my sister being transgender. The last one really shut up Susan for a second because she was just trying to yell over me. It also shocked Emily too because she probably wasn't expecting to get called out. Of course, Emily started crying and holding her mom as Susan again yelled at me, this time accusing me of bullying her daughter and that I'm a horrible person. She even tried to lunge at me, but the coach got in between us. I just left and met up with my sisters and best friend. I gave them the rundown of what had happened in the car. Anna, middle sister, was fuming and wanting to give Susan a piece of her mind, and Dolly, best friend, was shocked and also mad. While Vicky was mostly quiet and only asked whose mom it was, which I said Emily's. Mom was so mad when we told her, she sent Susan a very long message on Instagram. This was only a few days ago, and Mom has set up a meeting with the principal about Susan and Emily. I know I did the right thing, but some of my other friends are telling me that it was unnecessary to directly yell at Emily, since her mom was doing the yelling. So am I the idiot? P.S. What should I do from here? My family hasn't ever been through anything like this. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. If you're in the U.S., laws are changing. If Susan gets the school board and other parents involved, this might be a huge storm. Your family needs to prepare for it. My sister is a teacher with a student in this exact situation, being forced to either play on the men's team or not play at all. And the law, including the sport committees that oversee athletics, are on the biological side. Comment 2. You did the right thing by standing up for your sister. So what if you yelled at Emily? She's the one who told her mother that Vicky is trans, likely knowing that Susan would throw a fit. Please don't feel bad about anything you did. You're an amazing and supportive sister. Also, thanks for the laugh from your description of Emily playing like dog water. Funny. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the support on my last post. I'm back with an update, and well, it's been a busy week. After the basketball game incident, things escalated quickly. Mom's meeting with the principal happened, and it was intense. The principal was understanding, but Susan was there too, and she was as stubborn as a mule. She kept insisting that Vicky shouldn't be on the team, but Mom was having none of it. She brought up Vicky's medical history, how she's been on hormone blockers, and how she's just a kid who wants to play basketball. It was a heated discussion, but in the end, the principal sided with us. Vicky could stay on the team, but that wasn't the end of it. Word got out about the confrontation, and suddenly, Vicky was the talk of the school. Some kids were supportive, but others, not so much. Emily, for her part, seemed to shrink back after the whole thing. I guess she didn't expect her mom's actions to blow up like this. Meanwhile, Anna was still fuming. She's always been the protective type, and she wanted to confront Emily directly. I had to remind her that Emily was just a kid too, caught up in her mom's mess. It wasn't easy, but I managed to convince Anna to let it go. We didn't need more drama. Then came the jaw-dropping moment. At the next game, Susan showed up with a group of parents who were on her side. They had signs and were ready to protest. But our community showed up too. Parents, students, even some teachers came to support Vicky. It was like some kind of showdown, right there in the school gym. The game started and Vicky was playing her heart out. She was amazing, scoring points and showing everyone just how much she deserved to be there. But then, in the middle of the game, Susan started shouting from the stands, trying to disrupt Vicky. The coach called a timeout, and that's when things got really heated. Susan marched onto the court, heading straight for Vicky. But before she could get there, the coach stepped in. He told Susan she needed to leave or he'd forfeit the game. Susan was livid, but she had no choice. The crowd was against her, and she was escorted out by the school security. The game resumed, and we won. Vicky was the star player, and everyone was cheering for her. It was a moment of pure triumph. But as we were celebrating, I saw Emily sitting alone in the stands, looking lost. I couldn't help but feel a twinge of sympathy for her. She was just a kid, after all, caught in the middle of her mom's crusade. After the game, Vicky was quieter than usual. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she was just tired. But I could tell it was more than that. The whole ordeal had taken its toll on her. She was happy we won, but she was also sad that it had to come to this. As for me, I've been reflecting on everything that's happened. I stood up for my sister, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. But I can't shake the feeling that there were no real winners here. Vicky got to play, but at what cost? The whole situation has left a bittersweet taste in my mouth. So that's where we are now. Vicky's still on the team, and Susan's been pretty quiet since the last game. I guess she realized she was fighting a losing battle, but the tension is still there, simmering under the surface. We're all just trying to move on and let Vicky enjoy her basketball, but it's not easy. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.